Joining us now is Trump 2020 campaign senior advisor, Lara Trump. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
So this is a great example. I mean, the devil is in the details in all of these drug plans, but this is something where, at least on paper, the president and Speaker Pelosi have wanted to do similar things.
Yeah.
Can they work together on this? Yeah, where they could find common ground and actually work together if it were not for this other issue that's going on, you know, with her leading the impeachment rush.
Right.
Do you think that any work can be done while this is going on?
Well, I think the American people would love to see that. Wouldn't it be great if we saw a bipartisan effort here and on something so important to the American people, like lowering prescription drug prices? They are the lowest right now, Melissa, that they've been in about 50 years under this administration, thanks to President Trump. So I know he cares greatly about this. But it would be nice to see some harmony, and maybe we can all take some cues from that and work together.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think it's realistic? I mean, I think if I understand the story correctly in my prior research, the government's the one that's really overspending on drugs. You talk about prices coming down to individuals. That's absolutely true. And then you say, who is paying these exorbitant prices? It's our legislators who have agreed through Medicare and Medicaid to pay crazy prices for drugs. They should be able to get together. But how does that work behind closed doors? Well, she's saying one thing to the cameras about, you know, impeaching him, and then, you know, wants to get together and try and get some business done.
Well, it's certainly tough. I mean, I give the president a lot of credit for even considering working with Nancy Pelosi when, to your point, she's leading the charge to try and impeach him from office, which I think would be very hard for anyone to take seriously working with her. But hopefully we can all move past that. As we know, this impeachment nonsense is just that, a bunch of nonsense. And it's the only hand that the Democrats have to play to try and get President Trump out of office because they know none of their candidates are good. So maybe we can move past the impeachment stuff and actually get something done for the American people.
You know, a lot of people looking at the story. Ellen was a big story today. I don't know if you caught that. And she, you know, was sitting next to former President George W. Bush at a game, and a lot of people saying, how can you sit there and talk to him? And we've really come to a really sad place in this country where you're now not allowed to be friends with someone who doesn't have the exact same beliefs as you do. What do you think about that? How have we gotten to this place?
Well, I think you're right. It is incredibly sad that's where we are in this country. But I actually don't think it's where we are. I think that there are a lot of extreme people on either end. And I know that Ellen got a lot of flack from people for standing up for herself, and good for her. I actually tweeted in support of her today to say, this is what we should be doing. We should be able to be friends with people that have different views from us. That's what America is about. America was not founded on the principles that we should all be of the same ideas and be exactly the same way. We're allowed to have different ideas, and we should be able to share in each other's company with those different ideas. But, you know, I blame a lot, I put a lot of blame, I guess, on the mainstream media, because there's this idea that they continue to drive out there, that there's such division and such hatred. And you know what? Every day, you and I walk down the street and I see people being kind to one another, and I hear very positive things even said to me in this very liberal city of New York. And so I don't think day to day people see that. I think it's very easy for people to be behind a phone or behind a computer and say really nasty things to Ellen. But you know what? I commend her for what she did and standing up for herself and saying, I'm friends with George Bush, and it's okay. We should be able to be friends.
That's true. And a lot of people say stuff online or via email or on Facebook is where they're saying the meanest things about each other. People blame the president, though, and say he started on Twitter, that his vitriol is what led us to this place where people are so at each other's throats. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think that's ridiculous. Listen, the president obviously is known for his tweets, but his tweets are very honest. And the tweets from Donald Trump have been the same since well before he was president and to now when he is president. He's the same guy he's always been. When he's attacked, he'll attack back. And I think that's okay. And I think that's why people like him. He's a fighter. We've needed a fighter in this country for the American people for a long time. But when you see things get spun out of control and really the media narrative is driven so often by the idea that we're divided and that there's so much hate out there, I really don't think it's the case.
Think so?
I don't. I think people are very brave when they can hide behind their computer and they say nasty things to one another. But I think day to day, you know what, if something happened and you needed to help out a fellow citizen, a fellow human, I think we're all ready to do that. And I think most people would.
I hope you're right, because I'm going through in my head of the things that people have done that have been mean, and I realize a lot of it is online, or they are celebrities who go on and say something, but it's not really the face-to-face stuff.
I don't think so. I don't
know.
think so.
Interesting.
Hopefully,
Thank you for
not there.
coming on. Yeah, I hope not. I know we all have kids. You don't want it to be like that.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.